Yes, she's plugged in, so don't flip out, but feels like -7. So let's get her started up. Unplug her and start her up. Guys, that was plugged in and it still started like that. Like I said, real feel right now, -7. The actual temperature is only like 5 degrees out. It's like really, really low. Apparently Dad took the 7.3 today somewhere where he parked in the barn, or I don't know what he did with it, but there's this plug hanging there. That's up. But yeah, very, very cold. Look how nice that is. It's been absolutely freezing the last couple of days, and yeah, been good though. We didn't run this truck at all yesterday. It was Christmas Day. Hopefully everybody had a very blessed holiday, but it just sat for 2 days, and it's been absolutely frigid out. Absolutely freezing. What is up, loud and proud crowd? I hope you guys are doing absolutely awesome this morning. It is a freezing, very cold morning here in Indiana. The real temperature is like 5 degrees right now, and the actual feel is like -7. So it is absolutely cold. This truck sat for 2 days. That's why, probably why it started a little bit hard. It started hard and it's freaking cold out, but I did have the block heater on. If that thing wouldn't have been plugged in, I have a feeling it would have been a lot more difficult. So definitely glad I actually had it plugged in last night. It's getting to that time of year when it's a little bit difficult to film videos here in the Midwest because the temperatures are getting so freezing cold that it makes it very difficult to be able to be outside filming in these temperatures if you want to keep any feeling in your body. So it makes it a real pain in the butt. But now I can see why a lot of, you know, big vloggers and stuff like that, they always move to places where it's like constantly warm and stuff like that, it seems like. And so, you know, it just makes it really tough. It's so cold out that it makes it almost unbearable to be out there, you know, working on the thing. So like there's a couple of projects that I could be working on right now, like my KDP I want to get done so I can reseal off my, you know, timing cover and stuff like that. We don't have any licky heat in that barn right here that you would seriously be out there freezing terribly. I mean, it is so cold out right now that it would be almost unbearable to actually sit out in the shop and work on it because there's no kind of heat. You know, it'd be different if I had some kind of heating out here. What I'm trying to do now is create some kind of content, try to come up with some kind of list of content that I can create that requires me to be more in the truck, you know, while it's running versus, you know, outside working on it or something, because it's just too cold. What we're gonna be doing today is I want to go through and just kind of tell you guys and kind of show you guys the best that I can the top things that I dislike about driving my 5-speed dually. And the reason why I'm not gonna like take it out is like because it has anything to do with it being a Cummins or a diesel. It has nothing to do with that. But it is something that is kind of a little bit of an issue in some cases. Not really an issue if you know drive trucks like this day in and day out for years and you get used to it. But somebody who's newer to manuals, maybe these are some things that you definitely want to consider when, you know, looking to buy one of these trucks. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if you do not need a dually, don't get a dually. And I'll try to get to why you shouldn't get a dually if you don't need one. I'll be honest, I don't need a dually. I do not tow day in and day out. I make content for people who want to watch content that has to do with, you know, trucks like this. So that's my justification of buying it. Is this truck is a business. It's a business expense to me, and so I'm not buying this truck because of practicality in my daily use. Because if I was just buying a truck for practicality, I would buy an S10 or a Ford Ranger, because I literally all I use my truck for the most part is to either get firewood, haul a deer, I don't know, just carry hunting gear and stuff like that. But I don't need a 1-ton dually pickup truck with a 5-speed manual in it. But I wanted one. I had the means to buy one. I was like, shoot, this is what I can afford. This is what I really want to buy. Not that I need it, but I want to buy this. And people want to see content on something like this. So that's what I'm going to go with, you know. And from a business perspective, it's been an absolutely great idea so far. So what we're going to do is get on the road here. When we get to drive in, get some GoPro video for you guys and kind of go through the main things that I dislike about owning a 5-speed, and then some things that I dislike about the fact that it's a dually, and some things that you have to consider consider when looking to buy one of these trucks. So let's get onto the road and get a little bit of footage for you guys. By the way, this is my new vlog camera, so if you guys notice a little bit better video, maybe video that focuses a lot better, a lot faster, a lot more crisp and clean. I'm still trying to figure out all the different, specs and features on it, but so far it's been an awesome camera. The last, 2 days I've been kind of messing with it, and I'm just super stoked to have it. Quick disclaimer to this video: do not go in the comment section and go, oh, well, see, you're saying all these bad things about a dually, so, then why'd you buy one? Don't complain about the truck because you're the one that bought it. You said you wanted it, so yada yada, blah, blah, blah. I wanted the truck. I'm okay with all these different things that I'm going to be saying that you need to watch out for because I dislike it about this truck. Just because I say I dislike it doesn't mean that I hate the truck and I don't want the truck. I want this truck, regardless of all these things, because I like it. I like the look of it. I like the dually feel. I like driving it. It's fun. I love the 5-speed. I'm just giving you guys some things to look out for, because for me, it doesn't really drive me nuts because I don't really care. I don't really drive enough for this stuff to really bother me that much. But these are things that if you do daily drive a lot and you're going to be trying to buy this for that kind of use and you don't need it for pulling on stuff, these are some things you got to really think about, because you got to consider these before actually going out and making the purchase, dropping all this money on this truck, and then you're stuck with it, and then you realize, like, oh crap, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this, it's just practical, whatever. But like I said, for my use, which is mostly business expense, this truck is practical for me, okay? Let's get onto the road here and get you guys a little bit of video. I gave the truck 12 minutes to warm up. It's going to be all in cab on the GoPro for the most part. And this is a perfect day to make this video for a couple of these things. The very first thing that I dislike about this truck, traction. Traction on a dually is horrible. This truck, if you give it just a little bit too much fuel, or it's a little bit, icy, or it's a little bit slick, or there's a lot of water on the road, the back end breaks loose so easily, it just fishtails. And now, luckily in this truck I have 4-wheel drive, so it's all good. If it gets bad, like right now I'm in 2-wheel drive, and it's pretty gosh dang slick, so I'm just trying to keep it straight as an arrow as much as I can. And I'm already having to compensate for the fishtailing a little bit here. The tires, they don't have a lot of traction back there. And some guys might say, oh, we'll get mud tires. Mud tires on bad conditions like this make it even worse, okay? All that extra surface area is the reason why the traction is so bad. For this truck, let me try to explain it. Most of you guys, maybe you drive big rigs, stuff like that, you drive dualies yourself. But for the guys that are considering getting a dually, or they've thought like, hey, dude, I'd love to have a dually for this reason, this reason, these are some things. You would think, okay, in logic, at first, before really putting your thoughts to it, you'd be like, okay, well, now you got 4 tires. So you get, double the traction in the rear, right? You got more tread, you got more surface on the road, like you can, you got this, right? The reason that's not accurate is now you've got, 4 tires to distribute the weight over to get that traction down to the road. So let's say when you're going down the road, just like my dad had on his old S10, he had an old 80s S10, he always had to put salt bags in the rear end over the axle. And the reason for that was to get, more traction down to those rear tires to actually get some traction on the thing, because it was a 2-wheel driver. But like this truck, for example, while there's nobody around, now it's got 4 tires, so it's got a really light rear end, and then usually it's still okay with, if you got a heavy truck, to have all the weight just on 2 tires, even though the rear end's much lighter than the front end with all the engine weight. It's still hard to get traction because it's a really light rear end, and you only got so much weight on those 2 tires. Well, now you've already got a super light rear end, and now you're going to spread the little bit of traction that you do have, and you're going to distribute it between 4 tires. Now that the rear end is super light, it's not going to have really any kind of like gripping or traction down onto the road, which makes it really difficult in icy conditions, slick conditions, snow, water, or whatever the case may be. It just makes it a real pain in the butt. But don't think a dually is a viable replacement if you're looking to get, let's say, more traction. Like one guy said, he's like, I thought getting a dually would be a great idea for a plow truck, and like I just explained about all that, the little bit of weight that you do have over the bed distributed instead of 2 tires to 4 tires, then you got a plow on the front end, and it made that rear end super squirrely, and that's just something you really got to be careful with. Now, this is something that I do kind of dislike. One thing I hate about it is driving in any kind of traffic. But let's say you're going through traffic and you're shifting up into gears, and the light turns red. Boom, you got to stop, you got to downshift, and there's a bunch of traffic, you got to slow down really fast. And sometimes you can downshift, sometimes you can't, and you definitely can't downshift on the ice. Okay, that's a terrible idea. The truck just gets real squirrely, it's moves all over the place. When it's icy like this, put it in neutral, and I slow down with my brake pedal real easy, on and off. That's another thing I gotta add to the list. Downshifting in slick conditions, no go. It's not a good idea. Like I was saying about the traffic thing, I mean, if you're in any kind of stop and go traffic, you do any in-town driving, stuff like that, it's not fun. If you live around a lot of country roads, you just do some cruising here and there, it's no problem. Dualies are fun for that kind of stuff. Not just because of the fact that it's a dually and it's barely fits in city lanes. If you've got 2 or 3, 4 lanes, you know, going one way, like my dad driving this back, he was driving this back from the lot because I hadn't driven, you know, I haven't driven it. I'm driving behind him, and the thing was barely fitting in the lanes. You know what I mean? It had about this much room on each side. So that's another thing if you're looking for a dually. Not the best thing. They fit, but it's definitely not like ideal. Can't really go through some banks. You can go through a lot of banks. There are banks that have, you know, lanes I've seen that are plenty wide. The banks around here though, it's a no-go. Doing up here, barely had to touch that pedal. This thing was just whoa. Okay, yeah, barely touched that pedal. This thing was swirling all over the place. But if you have to do that kind of stuff a lot and pull through tight areas, not a good idea for a dually. Those are the main things that I would definitely look out for when you are considering buying a dually, and not just a dually, but a manual. It kind of applies to both things. I kind of wrapped in the whole, you know, if you got to go through banks and tight areas and city lanes and stuff like that, that's all stuff that you gotta, in traction, that's all stuff you guys gotta think about when you're getting a dually. Now, when it comes to the manual thing, the whole kind of thing with that, lots of ups and downs. Manual's good. You have more control of your gears, your speeds, your RPMs, and all that stuff. That's great. There's definitely things to consider. Really think about what you need. But I guess in the end, if you just don't give a flying flip, kind of like me, and you're just like, shoot, I want a dually, I want a manual, I want a 4-wheel drive, I don't really care what people are going to say, what people are going to think. This is what I want, this is what I want to drive, this is what I'm going to buy, then just buy it. You know what I mean? It's all up to you and what you want to do. That's just kind of my thoughts on it, my opinions on it, some things that you might want to consider. Well, everybody, that is probably going to put a wrap on this video. Like I said, guys, it is freezing. My entire cab, that entire drive, it's still freezing here. My fingers are numb, my feet are numb. My heat works. It takes a while to warm up, but it works. But it is just so gosh dang cold out. So I hope you guys can understand kind of the urge to want to stay out of the cold as much as possible, especially when you have no heat, you know, in the barn or anything else. And it is literally in the negatives out there right now. The content could be a little bit slow coming up. Now, I'm always going to try to strive and push and be my best and do my best to get you guys videos. I could be going on a little bit of a trip here soon, so you might see a little bit less content, although you might see a little bit more, a little bit different content. There's some different things that you might and might not see, but in the end, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Just kind of my opinion on whether or not you should buy a dually, whether or not you should buy a manual, and the things that you want to consider that are the biggest and most obvious things to me that I realized that are kind of like, oh shoot, didn't really think about that, but I'm like, for me, it's still fine. It's not a big deal because, from the uses of the truck that I have, it does everything that I need it to and want it to and use it for just well. And that's mostly for social media promotion and, making a business out of it. And so that's kind of what I do with it. That's kind of my work with it. But for you guys that, not everybody's going to be a truck vlogging channel and stuff like that. So you might have different uses and different needs for the truck, and definitely consider your needs and your uses for the truck, before going out and actually purchasing something like this. Let me know down in the comments below, do you like the new camera? The driving was, of course, with this GoPro, very crazy looking mount there, but the intro and the clips right now are done with my new camera, my new Canon SL2. So I will leave a link to this camera and my mic, kind of the combo package deal that I got. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, definitely smash that like button, leave your comments down below. Be the difference, be a better influence, be the change in the world, on the platform, and areas of your life. I've been stating this a lot lately, and it's because it's true. You'll go through life being like, oh, there's all these problems in the world, there's all these issues, everybody else is the issue, and then we'll go and we'll leave some trash comments down in the comment section, ripping people apart, and then we're like, wait, I'm part of the problem. So be the difference, be the change. If you guys want to see good things manifest in your life, do good things towards other people. Think about what you could say or do today to make the world a better place tomorrow. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I'll catch you guys in the next video. If you have not yet, join the family, join the team, subscribe. I'll catch you later. Doing what I love, going day to day, but I know it takes time and I'm patiently waiting. Sometimes I contemplate, cause one day you feel so close and the next is out of sight. But I know I gotta hold on tight to go back to just going out every night. Like if I'm about to let it go now, I can live alright, live a normal life, doing 9 to 5. But I know I'm more than that. I gained this skill, wasn't born with that. At the end of the life, it's a memory.